adjust this. I'm trying to set this up outside with as little drama as possible, but had that work out for me. Not good. So let's see. There we go. I hope that works. Okay. So welcome. This is our Teachers Only live stream at Cathleen and I. And the reason I'm doing this outside, apart from the fact that it is just a gorgeous day, is that I really feel it's important for us to remember that life doesn't happen in a studio. Things are imperfect, especially when it comes to learning a language. And we need to get ourselves out of our books, out of our notebooks, and out of the sterileness of what is usually the atmosphere that we put ourselves in when we're learning. And I want us to get outside. I want us to see the day. I want us to feel the day and just experience the world around us, because that's why we're learning a language. And there's really no point to learn a language if we're just going to stay stuck in our little corners of the world. So here we are today. We're outside. Just to let you know, when I did the student live stream just a few minutes ago, there were planes and stuff, helicopters. We're near a hospital, and they do a lot of flight lifts, like life flights or something. I forget what they call them, but those emergency helicopters. So you might hear that. Okay. So today isn't going to be terribly long because, well, you know me, I say that. But what we're talking about today is, what does an ESL teacher do? I'm not going to, I've already gone through the job description. I've gone through, what happens in the classroom, what we do during the day. So today I want to take it from the point of, what is it that we actually give our students? So many of us are so used to getting paid $5 for a lesson and $10 for a lesson. And we feel lucky if we get $15 for an hour of our time. But really, we deserve a lot more. And because we give so much value, we do so much for our students and for their lives and for the lives of those they touch, that I feel it's important for us to kind of take this from a value standpoint. What value do we bring? So essentially, what ESL teachers do is we bring value not only to our students, but we then, by bringing that value to the students, we release tons of value in their lives and for the better. So I just felt this was a really important topic to talk about. So I just want to take a look at my notes here for a minute. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to say too is that if we're not understanding the value that we bring to every class that we teach, then we're going to be projecting that worthlessness that we feel about ourselves and our job. Even though we love what we do, we're always kind of brought down by, oh, it's only worth $5 an hour. Well, no. So I want us to really understand the value so that we can bring the confidence in the value that we possess and that we share with our students, so that they will say, hey, wait a minute, this is worth more than $5. So when it's time for us to raise our prices, they're going to say, wow, I had a great ride up until now, but this is still worth it. I want to pay this. And I'm not saying that we have to charge $1,000 a lesson. We can, if those are our skills, if that's our skill set. But really, we need to start thinking about ourselves as much more valuable than we currently do. So let's see. All right. So again, this isn't going to be a long one, but So I just want to go over some of the things. So what do we bring to the equation as teachers? And I'm going to read this because I just loved how it came out when I was writing my notes. So what we bring, and I'll go over them. We bring voice to the unspoken, visibility to the unseen, order to the chaos, peace to the turmoil, ease to the struggle, possibilities to the inconceivable, and hope to the hopeless. In a nutshell, that is what we do as teachers of English as a second language or other language. So, voice to the unspoken. Okay, so many. This has a couple of different angles. So you have students who they might never have fit into the standard way of learning and the standard school system, but they're super smart and super creative. But they just, because they didn't fit in, they thought that they weren't smart or things like that. So they never spoke up. They just kept to themselves and accepted poor grades. Well, we as English, as ESL teachers, we care deeply enough so that we're listening to what our students are saying, what they're not saying, on that personal level, on that educational level as well. But we're listening to our students and we're hearing what they're not saying. And then we're working with them at that point from where they are, and we're helping them to speak more and more and more. So that is how we give voice to the unspoken. Now, the other way is that by learning the language, they now have an entirely new way of expressing themselves, and in a different from a different cultural framework that generally unlocks another side of our students that they didn't realize. I had some corporate students one time in a group class, and they never spoke up at work. They just did their job and whatever, and they were taking the class because it was available, and the company offered it, and they thought, well, okay, why not? And by the time we were done with the 12-week class, they were chatting up a storm. They had really incredible opinions, and they were taking that into their meetings that they had to go to. They were taking it into their conversations with their clients. And so these people now had a new way of expressing themselves in English, and it changed their world, it changed their lives. And so that is how we bring voice to the what did I say? Voice to the unspoken. So as far as visibility to the unseen, again, it's the same, that student that hides in the background, these students who didn't speak up in meetings, they're now, because somebody saw them and somebody worked with them and somebody brought these amazing talents out of them, included them in discussions, asked their opinions, worked with them at a level where they could make sense of things. That's how we're making these unseen people, our students, visible, and to themselves as well, not just to us and not just to the world around them, but they're actually seeing themselves now in a different light. How incredible is that? That is huge, and we're just on two out of the many things that we do, the value that we bring. The other thing, order out of chaos. We are able to help them make sense of the grammar and the vocabulary and all of the exceptions that the English language has. And we're able to take all the puzzle pieces that our students are dealing with, and they can put some of them in order, but we're helping them to sort it all out so that they can put the pieces together. Over here, these are your clouds. These are your barn animals. This is your landscape pieces. Your whatever it is. We're helping them sort things out so that they can put it all together. Again, huge deal. all of us who are teachers, we've been students, and so we know what a huge help that is. We're bringing peace to the turmoil, by helping our students make sense of what they're trying to learn, and having them finally understand it. It's like we've taken this weight off of their shoulders, and they don't have this churning inside, all of this conflict, all of this, I can't understand, I must be stupid. We are just calming that right down, and just bringing peace to that right away. As soon as we help them and they can see that things are making sense, they can see that they're not drowning anymore because we're helping them, that just gives them the peace that they need, so then they can focus on learning, which gives them more peace, etc. So really, these are enormous things in people's lives that we all take for granted and we all kind of brush aside as unimportant. But when we see it in this light, it's not unimportant. It's critical in our lives. So imagine how much better we would be if we had someone helping us in the areas that we struggle with. If we had someone bringing peace to the turmoil and order to the chaos, and having us be seen and heard. Huge deal. So ease to the struggle, again, by lifting that burden of, I can't do this, I must be stupid. And by putting things in order for, helping our students learn how to put things in order so that it makes sense, they're not going to have to struggle anymore. We're giving them the tools. We're teaching them how to use those tools that will smooth out their path as they continue. Once they're no longer in our care and they move on, we're giving them the tools and showing them how to use it. That is absolutely easing their struggle. And it's teaching them how to turn the struggle into actually a propulsion mechanism, to push them along and help them just the road go smoothly. Even if there are struggles, it's still ultimately a smoother ride than before. And we're giving possibilities to the inconceivable. So how many of us have been in situations, usually it's work situations, usually it's, the what we're dealing with in our family lives, etc. Wrong way. Sorry, my curls go their own way. Possibilities to the inconceivable. And we just think we're stuck in it. We think we're stuck in this situation forever. Every time we try to get out of it, something always happens to throw us right back in, or worse. And, how often have we felt that? Or do we know people like that? Are there people, maybe things have always gone easily for us, but maybe our brother or sister or our neighbor or our best friend is always feeling so hopeless that they're never going to get forward. They're never going to live a better life. They don't see a way out. Well, by teaching our students English, by listening to them, by seeing them, by working with them, by easing these burdens, we are able to not only help them learn, we're helping them to learn a new skill that will help them out of the situation that they're in some form or fashion, whether it's to help them so they can take the trip they've always wanted to take and just get temporarily away, or whether it's to help them get a better job, or to, follow that career they've always wanted to do. Maybe they've always wanted to be a teacher, and because of our example, we're now showing them that it's possible. So so we're giving them those possibilities to something they couldn't even fathom or conceive of before. So it just really is huge. And then hope to the hopeless. So if you finally see that there is a possibility to make a better life for yourself and your family, um, to finally follow that career path that you've always wanted to do. All of these different things, um, that's absolutely giving hope in a hopeless situation. So these are the critical areas that I think we just don't pay attention to. And we think that these non-scholarly areas of learning, all of the personal and the emotional things that go on with learning, we tend to think that those are just, that they're not important, that they don't have an impact. And yet, if we take a look at it and we say, wait a minute, if I can help this person make sense of this, they won't be so tense, they won't be so uptight. That will free their brain to be open to learning more. They're going to get it. We're going to set them on a cycle of success. That's huge in helping a student to not only just understand the stuff and learn it, but to set them on a path of learning, of constant learning, and to get them excited about learning. That not only relieves the burden that they've been under, but it also ignites a flame and a passion for learning that is only going to set them up for success. So everything that we as students do, whether it is lesson plan or curriculum designs, or thinking up ways to help someone understand it, or just listening to them. What are you saying? Just tell me, talk to me, say it to me. Don't be afraid. Helping them to get beyond that fear of speaking. All of these things that we do in the classroom have a huge effect on the student's emotional, I don't have the word, emotional state, I suppose, which is either hindering or helping them in their learning. It's either setting them up for failure or it's setting them up for success. And if we do our jobs correctly, we are absolutely setting our students up for success. And so that is absolutely of value. That's why they come to us. Students come to us to help them succeed. And so we help them in all of these underlying ways just by doing what we do best. And so I really want you to focus on these, really pay attention to these different aspects the next time you're teaching your students, and take a look at where they started when you first worked with them. I have one student, again, he's one of the younger ones. I've been working with him for 4 years now. And the other day he made a comment about, oh, I would never do that, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, if you remember, do you remember 4 years back when we first started learning? And if you got something wrong or if you felt embarrassed, what would you do? And he thought back about what he would do in his behavior. And he was shocked that that was what his behavior was. He said, teacher, I don't do that anymore. I said, I know you don't, and I'm so proud of you. So he has become a much more open student. He has more courage to try things because of those other things that were getting in his way that we worked through. It took us 4 years, but it happened invisibly because of how we worked together, because he was seen, he was heard. I was able to help him bring order to the chaos that was going on, and teach him how to manage the chaos, which is another thing that we do. We're teaching life skills as well, especially if we're dealing with the younger students. We're teaching them life skills. But there are many adults that I've had that, have said, wow, Kathleen, I just didn't understand that about myself. And hearing it from you and working with you. I don't do that anymore, and look at how far I've come. It is amazing what we do for our students. So I just really want you to start paying attention to that and help your students to start paying attention to that, because if we help our students see the value, see how far they have come by working with us, see the value that we've brought to them without saying, hey, listen, I've brought you this, but if we can help them see the success that we've brought them in these different areas, we're setting ourselves up higher in their estimation, and therefore it can only help us monetarily and in the long run in our careers. But ultimately, again, just looking at how far that one student came, it just made my day, because he was able to see, wow, this hasn't been a waste. It's not just boring stuff, or we're not just playing games, we're learning, that kind of a thing. So what I want you to do is, well, again, just remember that when we're dealing with our students, if we look at what we do as ESL teachers through this lens that we now have, then we are going to see just how important the work that we do is in individual lives and in the world ultimately, because these students are going out into the world. And think about how many of us are teaching English as a second language. And so how many students have we all affected that are now going out into the world and bringing that confidence, bringing that inquisitiveness, bringing that new way of communicating out into the world and as they touch it. So we directly impact the world. And I just think you can't put a price on that. It is so valuable. It is so valuable. And we need to start thinking of ourselves as treasures to be cared for. Then the other thing too is that if we don't own the value that we possess and that we share, then our students are going to pick that up. The parents, if we teach young ones, the corporations, if we teach adults, whoever, others are going to pick up our sense of worthlessness, and they will treat us as worthless, or they will try to get as little out of us as possible. That we will be treated poorly when we should be treated the opposite. So really, I did say this would be a short one today, but this is really a critical one. So I'm really glad you could come. Ask me any of your questions again, pop them in the comments, and I will go through them and answer all your questions. If I don't answer it in the comment, I will put them all together and do a Q&A live. So, all right. Really great. I'm glad you guys could come today. I'm glad you're watching this. And I will see you next week. And let me know, excuse me, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this. And are there areas that you can see where you've brought value to your students and you've actually changed their lives, or in some way, shape, or form? Have you talk to me? Let me know your experiences, because again, we're in this together, and we're in this to really just kind of change the dialogue around what being an ESL teacher is all about, and whether we're a native English speaker or a non-native English speaker, it doesn't matter. We're here to get that out of the equation and just talk about the teaching and all that we have to bring to the world. So talk to me, put it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. All right, I will see you next week. Bye-bye.